What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's happening with the economic calendar going into tomorrow and why tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day with more data coming out. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY in uninvested cash. The offer ends in just 8 days. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the market. So as far as SPY is going, I just wanted to say that we're doing a very, very good job at holding our support. We held above our 200 EMA and we managed to close right at our 20 EMA, doing a pretty good job. And so far, SPY does favor upside looking at this trend. So I'll talk more about this in just a minute. Just know this, as far as the market went today, we did see a mixed market. We saw some big tech stocks in the green. Most of them did very, very well, actually, especially like Nvda and Google. Others were flat. Most stocks out there were quite flat as we saw a lot of chop in the markets, but the indices did a lot better. And they're still holding up quite well. Now, for tomorrow, it's going to be Christmas Eve. So I just want to wish you guys a very happy Christmas Eve, happy holidays and everything like that. But just know the NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange are going to be closing at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, according to their websites. The U.S. bond market is going to be closing early as well at about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the whole market's going to be closed completely on Christmas Day, which is going to be on Wednesday. So please keep that in mind. Everything's going to open back to normal. Everything's going to go back to normal on Thursday, December 26th, right after Christmas. So we're entering a period where the market's going to be only open for half a day, and we have the market completely shut down on Christmas Day. So keep that in mind. Now, going into tomorrow, there's just some Richmond Fed data coming out involving manufacturing at 10 o'clock a.m. So look for some volatility then. And besides that, we just have a couple of auctions coming out. So we have a notes auction. That's pretty much it at 11:30. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing else that's too crazy. Now, besides that, the fear and greed index is at fear. This is what's making up the majority of sentiment. This is less fearful than before. And we'll have to see if we could get back to neutral as the market tries to get bought back up. Momentum is at fear right now. It's actually slowly going up, which shows that fear is dwindling and the market is getting closer to a more neutral position. The put to call option ratio is still going up. There's still a lot of shorts piling into the market. So we're going to see if this ends up affecting things. Does this cause the market to squeeze more or not? And the VIX remains just barely or very close to its 50 daily moving average, which is still showing some weakness. So there's weakness on the VIX. Last thing is a reminder that there's no significant earnings coming out for this week or next week. For the holidays, we have Christmas this week and then New Year's next week. So just keep that in mind. Anyways, let's talk about the charts. I'm going to try to be kind of quick because this video is a little bit delayed, guys. I did have something that came up, which is what delayed me, but I'll try my best to be as fast as possible with this. So as far as SPY is going, we're trying to hold above 594.36. As long as that holds, we could slowly make our way up to 595. If we could get it back above that or even close above that, I'm looking for 598 and then 600 as our targets. And then once that breaks, we're going all the way back up to about 605. That's where this imbalance happens to be. So the chart looks more bullish. We have this big green bar, which is continuing to hold up. We made a higher low right here. We're trying to break out. So if we could break the highs from Friday, this is going to try to push even more to 598 and 600. If we lose 591, we turn a little bit more bearish tomorrow, but this is favoring upside, at least from a technical standpoint. For ES, we look more bullish. If we were to lose 6,012 and we close below that tomorrow, we turn bearish. If we close and try to break past 6,050, we turn more bullish. I expect that what's going to happen is we try to push a bit more for 6,050. If we could hold above that, we're looking for a bigger push to fill this imbalance, taking us back up to about 61.34. So I see some upside potential. We'll see if we can break the resistance, and overall, we're doing a pretty good job. For Bitcoin, we're attempting to rebound right here. We could be trying to get back up to about 95,924. So a little bit of a push could be coming to this imbalance. There is some upside potential looking at the chart. For Nvda, we finally got the breakout. I did call this out because I said we should be breaking out as long as we're above 138. We're looking for 140. Now it looks bullish. Could this be like an inverse head and shoulders though, where this is like a head, this is like a left shoulder, and then this is the right shoulder? Just know that this is a tough resistance at this 140 area. So we'll have to see if Nvda could break it or not. We might see some consolidation here before it later on tries to break out higher for like 142 plus. But we'll see if we're forming like a right shoulder. Will we come down to from a right shoulder and start pushing up higher? That's always a possibility. But overall, expect some chop around this 140 area tomorrow. Then we'll see if we break out higher. There's most definitely some potential for it. For Tesla, we look a little bit more bullish, but we haven't broken resistance yet to turn more bullish. We have 436 as our resistance and then 421 is our support. We're kind of stuck in the middle. We did see Tesla dip a bit, then grab liquidity, so I do expect a little bit more sharp and range-bound price action tomorrow. Might dip and come back down, just consolidate, but if we can break 436, whether it is tomorrow or sometime next week, then this will be breaking out closer to 450. There's no sign of that yet, so we're just technically range-bound on Tesla, so we have to give this more time to develop. For NQ, we look a bit more bullish. If we can break past 21,783, we're looking for an attempt to get to 22,000. If we end up losing 21,500, we dip, but this is favoring a push higher for 21,800 plus and eventually 22,000. So I see some upside potential. For the QQQ, we look more bullish. If we manage to break past 523, we're looking for 525 as our next level of resistance, not to mention 527.5. If we end up losing 520, we're looking for a dip back down for 515. But overall, I think it looks a little bit more bullish and we could be looking for a much bigger move. For Apple's looking quite nice right now. We're testing 255 as our resistance. If we break out higher, we're going to be looking for 257. And if we lose the support, we're looking for essentially 252.5. But I think this is technically favoring consolidation and an attempt to get back up to about 257 to break all-time highs. So I think it's doing a good job at least thus far. So just keep that in mind, guys. For a few more, we have Netflix. I'm going to try to be kind of fast with this just to be clear, guys. I have to get this out as fast as possible. So Netflix inverse head and shoulders like structure, we're holding support. We got to hold 909, otherwise this could start dipping back down to 900 flat. And as long as 909 holds, we could be bouncing to 920. So there's a liquidity grab right over here. As long as this holds, we could see some consolidation, maybe a bounce to about 915. Don't forget that we have the big live stream on Christmas where I think Beyonce is going to be doing a performance and we have some NFL games being streamed. So watch to see if we get a bounce during the live stream. As long as we hold 900 to 909, we could bounce. We'll see if it holds that one specific support. MSTR is trying to hold support here. We're looking for a test of 327 tomorrow. If it holds this, it tries to bounce back up to 340. If it loses this, it's going to be dumping right back down. The trend is technically a little bit more bearish when you zoom out like this and you look at the weakness that's developing. So we're at some critical support. We got to hold 327 tomorrow to bounce. Otherwise, it's going to be dipping lower. So look for a small dip to 327. We'll see if we bounce. I'm hoping we do get that bounce, but we'll see about that. Celsius has more potential to rebound. It did dip just a little bit, but we're seeing some buyers stepping in here. So I'm going to be looking for an attempt to get back up to about 28. It's still technically range bound. If we lose 26, we turn bearish. If we break 28, we're bullish. Otherwise, we're just range bound. Look for an attempt to get back up to 28. Supermicro is trying to get bought back up here. If we break 32.85, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 34. I think this is going to slowly push up for the higher 32, so eventually 34 is our target. For Palantir, we look a bit more bullish. We have a nice looking cup-like structure. This also could be forming a handle. Might dip a bit, once again, consolidating in the 80s before it starts to break out higher for like 82 plus. So I see potential in this. For Rivian, we're trying to hold support right here around the 13.5 area. We'll have to see if we bounce or not. If that fails, we'll have to just see what kind of reaction we get here. There is a little bit of weakness here as we're making lower highs, so I do see a dip to 13.5 tomorrow. We'll have to see the reaction we get. It's a little choppy, so look for a slowdown. SoFi, on the other hand, looks more bullish. We have to break 15.74 to hit 16 plus. If we break 15.74, we're looking for 16.25 as our target. That's the previous support becoming resistance. So I see potential for upside in this. For the IWM Russell 2000, we have an inverse head and shoulders like structure. As long as we don't lose 218, we could be looking for a push for 224. So I see potential in it. For AMD, we look a bit more bullish. As long as we don't lose 123, I'm looking for 127 as our potential target. ARM is looking a little bit weaker here. We have to see if we can hold support at 125. Otherwise, this will try or an attempt a rebound. So I would say this, look for a test of 125. We got to bounce. Otherwise, it's going to be dumping lower to about 120. So watch 125 and we'll see if we bounce or not. For coin, we look decent. We're a little bit weak with Bitcoin, but I do think it's going to attempt to get back up to some balance around 277. So I expect a lot of shop around its 200 EMA around 277 and 265. Amazon's barely holding support around its 50 EMA, which is currently at 224. If we end up losing this, we're going to be looking for a lower move. If we bounce off this, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to about 225. So we're range bound between 224 and 225.6 right now, going back and forth. Might see a consolidation day tomorrow, but we need to break the highs around 225 at the very least to break out. Otherwise, we're just range bound. Meta, however, looks more bullish. We're looking for 602 and 606 as potential tests for tomorrow. And we'll see if we break them or not, but I do see some upside potential in this as long as 595 does not break. Microsoft looks a little bit more bearish. We're looking for a test of 431 tomorrow. We'll have to see if it bounces off that or not. Otherwise, it's still on a downtrend. So look for a dip towards 430.95, and we'll see if this tips lower for like 428, and we'll see what kind of reaction we get. So we'll just have to see how things end up going. For Google, we're range bound right here. We could be pushing higher for essentially 198 to 200. If we lose 193.5, we could be dipping lower. So we're stuck in the middle. I do want to warn you of the possibility of a left shoulder head and a right shoulder that could be forming. Not always guaranteed, though. It does look bullish for now, so I do think it's going to be pushing a little higher for at least 197. And we'll see if we could break the high here. If we make a lower high and reject, that would make me a little bit more concerned. For GameStop, we look a bit more bullish. We could be looking for an attempt to get back up to 31.5, so it might push a little bit more. AMC is consolidating around the 4 area. It's going to likely just continue to do that. DJT is going to be testing very close to 35. And if it rejects here, we're going to be dipping to about 34. We're still stuck in between these levels just for now. The VIX is dipping right here. We're looking for 16.59 as our main support. If that fails us, we have this imbalance around 15.25 to watch for. The 10-year looks a bit more bullish. We could be looking for an attempt to get up to about 4.65. And the dollar looks so-so. There's a gap to fill down here, so if it dips a bit, this could help the market push. My view of the market is this. Some stocks are a little bit weaker, other stocks are stronger, but overall, the indices, SPY, the QQQ, and the others do look a bit more bullish, and they're favoring more upside going into the rest of the week. Now, we'll see if we can break resistance. We haven't broken 595 on SPY quite yet, but we're getting closer, and it's still building some strength. So the chart looks promising, but we'll give this some time to develop. With that being said, guys, thank you all so much for listening. I'll be back with another updates tomorrow morning. Until then, have a good night. I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.